You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Before we start today's episode, we just wanted to mention one quick point. There's a mention of Chadwick Boseman in today's episode, and we do not acknowledge his passing as the recording took place prior to that event happening. So we just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge his great work over the years, what big fans we are of his, and his charitable life. So thank you, Chadwick, for all the great movies and for being you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello, welcome to Triviality, the game where I immediately have a question for Neal really quick.
Okay.
All right, how do you say Y-E-S?
Yes.
All right, how do you say E-Y-E-S?
E-S?
No.
One more time?
E-Y-E-S?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you say it?
E-Y-E-S.
Write it down.
This was on TikTok, and I've already forgotten it. Oh, eyes, yeah.
All right, so you hear Neal's here with me. I'm Ken. We have Jeff across from me and Matt over Skype. Boys?
This is a very intelligent show, apparently.
Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to. I'll admit I was bamboozled by that one too. So
well,
it's not just you.
I saw it on TikTok, and I was
never
like,
caught that one off guard. I've always had that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
I just feel like when people ask those kinds of questions, you can hear in their voice when it's a trick.
I knew it was a trick. I saw it on TikTok, and I was like, "What's the answer? What's the answer?" And then I fluttered, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, that's
You're
okay.
going to date this podcast when you talk about this TikTok that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I'm on the
near
Quibi now.
future.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're really excited today. We have a couple guests coming to us over Skype. First of all, our previous office champion, I believe, Eric Ede from Buffalo. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hopefully don't make a fool of myself, riding high off my office win there.
Nonsense. We're going to team up today, and I'm looking forward to that. But tell us a little bit about yourself, and I think you're here to pitch a show as well.
Yeah, I'm from Buffalo, New York. I work as a nurse. I have a wife, a couple kids, a couple dogs, living the life, delaying mowing the lawn today.
Yeah, there you go.
But, I'm here with Josh, and we're promoting our podcast, Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast.
All right, great. It's a great show, and that brings us right to Josh. Josh Bombach, he's from Minnesota, and he's going to be supplying the questions today.
I am, yeah. I'm excited about that. I just want to, put a caveat out there that obviously I've written a lot of sports trivia, getting into a little more general trivia. We'll see how it goes. I think it shouldn't be too bad for you guys. My guess is I didn't write too difficult of questions, but we'll see.
So playing with him, I've noticed that our pop culture doesn't seem to line up, so I'm a little nervous about this today.
I see. Well, I've got your back, Eric, and hopefully we can come through with a victory today. But Josh, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself or the Benchwarmers show?
Yeah, well, I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I live with my wife-to-be in just under 3 weeks, and her son. We've been basically, hunkered down in our apartment for the last, I don't know how many ever months it's been now.
Yeah.
Once again, dating the show with all the COVID, but that's quite a few episodes.
Yep.
Aside from, I'll get to the Benchwarmers in a minute, but my day job's not very interesting. But another hobby thing that I'm working on with another friend is working on some tabletop game design. We're called Jab Games, J-A-B. We don't have much out at the moment, but hopefully soon there'll be some games out that people can purchase.
Very cool.
Yeah, Benchwarmers, we got 7 of us. I know we call ourselves the Benchwarmers. Some of us truly are. Not necessarily by high school sports or anything like that, but by our trivia abilities. And we certainly have a few like Eric and Dan Lundberg, who certainly are not bench warmers when it comes to trivia, but they play along.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's jump on into the game. But first, we got to do our team names. I see behind Eric, he's got a Avalanche jersey. So I said something about maybe Patrick Waugh, and then Jeff said, "Was the Great and Powerful." So I thought that was pretty good.
I like that title. And I do want to say for the record, congratulations, Josh. And knowing us, we will surely give you something old, something new, and depending on the jokes today, something blue. So hopefully that works for you. But Jeff, you came up with our name today based on Matt's background on Skype.
Matt has been inspiring me lately. For those of you interested in the saga of the traveling Matt, Matt is now moving to Hollywood. So I was inspired by that. And also, he's got the most amazing and ridiculous Tiger King background right now that he's rocking on Skype. And so one of my favorite AFL teams, the Richmond Tigers. Now that he's moving to Hollywood, I figured we could be the Rich Matt Tigers. So
I like it.
Yeah. And Matt will be supplying the color commentary today, much like Eddie Olczyk. So you're today's Eddie Olczyk. But now let's toss it over to a special presentation of the rules.
De regels van het spel zijn simpel. 20 vragen verdeeld over 2 rondes, waarbij elke vraag 10 punten waard is. Halverwege is er een speciale swingronde, ontworpen door de host van deze week. Na deze rondes beginnen de spelers aan de finale, met de punten die ze hebben verdiend. En hebben ze de mogelijkheid om 0 tot 30 punten in te zetten op 5 gecategoriseerde vragen. Aan het eind van het spel wordt iemand benoemd tot the cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop!
That was incredible. The greatest rules reading of all time, and I'm going to soil myself in cow's milk and run until the lights go out.
Wow, Dutch boy really liked that reading for some reason.
Very exciting.
That's a little different.
Yeah, thank you, Willem van Vanderloo, for that rules reading. It was completely in Dutch, except for cream of the crop, which I don't know if Macho Man translates that well into Dutch. But
I don't think so. But I admit, if you felt insane for the first 3 seconds of that, I did too when I first heard it. So don't worry, you're okay. But let's go ahead and toss it to Josh to start the game.
All right. Well, thanks for that. We're going to start with round 1, question 1. The category is sports, sports, sports. Everybody knows that the Chicago Bulls had 2 three-peats in the 90s, but what team had the most recent three-peat, winning NBA championships from 2000 to 2002?
I believe that's correct.
Okay, we're going to lock in over here.
All right, the guys in the studio are locked in, so not great with basketball here.
I'm 95% sure that's the Lakers.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure with Shaq.
I'm confident in your answer. So,
unless I'm spacing on something, and Josh is going to trip me up and make me look like a fool with the first sports question. What I should be getting right easily. But all right. I think we're good locking in with the Lakers.
All right, let's go for it.
That's totally right. I was so excited, but I was thinking of 99. 2000.
Yeah. For the Spurs.
Yeah, we locked in with the Spurs, but that was right after the Bulls had won their 6-peat, and not 2000 to 2002, but we locked in with the Spurs.
Well, the correct answer is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, my home team.
Man, get out of here.
It's Bulls betrayal.
Lakers.
Matt's favorite coach of all time was just fired, right? Jim Boylan.
Oh, Jim Boy. Yeah. I was up last night lamenting it till 2 a.m. drinking, and that's why I'm hungover. That's the reason I'll stay.
Matt, you traitorous swine. Let's go to question 2.
All right. Question 2. Speaking of the Lakers, before moving to LA in 1960, their home was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, thus the name Lakers. What 1988 fashion craze was started in a Minneapolis suburb gym and was popularized by the professional wrestling tag team, the Road Warriors?
I can't believe I'm not playing this game. I'm so upset right now.
You're the one who suggested that you be the commentary.
I know.
So
I'll just keep score myself. I'm crushing it.
I was the Road Warriors for Halloween one year, but it's not helping me out.
So you know exactly what they wear, basically.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how that
translates into words.
Yeah. I know what they look like. I know what they're wearing. I just don't know what a fashion...
It's like Mel Gibson.
Fashion craze. And why it would start in a gym.
What did Mel Gibson wear?
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna lock in, I guess.
Eric, it seemed like you had a pretty good idea.
Well, I mean, I did, but then I didn't. Originally, I thought, Road Warriors, I would have said like a mohawk. And then the next thing would have been shoulder pads.
I think mohawks came in earlier, especially in the punk scene. I like the shoulder pads, actually.
Why would that have started in a gym?
Squat rack? I don't know.
I'm good with it.
Squat rack.
I mean, this is... So, disclosure, Ken and I do often have like a bar pad for doing squats because like putting all that pressure on your shoulders and neck can be bad for you.
I'm just picturing those ladies with the blazers with shoulder pads doing squats.
That's what we're getting at. Yeah. That's the early 90s, so...
Yeah.
I think that's good.
All right, shoulder pads.
Shout out to Brigitte Nielsen.
Yeah, right. We wrote down face paint, shoulder pads, haircut / mohawk. And I thought maybe this was a way into sort of designing women, like women wearing shoulder pads. So we put shoulder pads.
Well, unfortunately, no points will be awarded for this question. You guys are thinking too high on the body. This is the pants. They are Zubas.
Oh, the old Zubas.
So you're telling me you knew exactly what these guys were wearing and Zubas didn't occur to you?
No, I literally was not even looking below their pants like I normally do.
I mean, if you would have looked at Matt's background with the tiger motif, Zubas pretty much had that kind of look to him. So, all right, well, let's move on to question 3. Hopefully this one goes a little better. Speaking of the Road Warriors were also known as the Legion of Doom. The group of supervillains, also known as the Legion of Doom, were on what Saturday morning cartoon?
Jeff wrote down something I think is correct. We just altered it a little bit, but I think we're happy with that, so we're going to lock in.
Okay. So Saturday morning cartoons, I'm thinking maybe was Spider-Man one of those? Maybe Transformers or something like that?
Recess.
My first gut was Super Friends.
Super Friends. I never watched that one, but if you feel good on it, I'm happy to go with it.
For some reason, when something pops in my head first, I tend to go with it and can't move off of it. That's
usually the way to go, to be honest. Though according to our records, it hasn't worked for me very well. But I'm good with Super Friends.
All right, let's go with it.
Jeff and I recall Saturday mornings together watching this character come out of the water in short shorts with his chest hair glistening in the sun and his large mustache and Detroit Tigers hat, Magnum PI, which isn't the answer. We just love to watch in the mornings together. But Jeff, what did we put?
Yeah, we also think that this is the Justice League-based show, Super Friends.
And the correct answer is Super Friends. Right. More accurately, this was actually on the Challenge of the Super Friends where they appeared, but I will accept Super Friends as the answer.
You are a super friend for doing that.
Well, thank you. All right. Question 4. Speaking of the Legion of Doom, the Legion of Doom was also a forward line for the Philadelphia Flyers in the mid-90s. Which Continental Congress passed the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania?
We can lock in.
All right.
So Neal, you didn't have an opinion on that one?
I had no idea what those words meant, so I just...
Yeah, that one really took a turn right at the end there.
Yeah, that one wasn't Dimensional Treasure, so Neal doesn't know.
They're like Eric Lindros. Oh, never mind.
So, I mean, with these, you've noticed I'm taking a sports non sequitur and then turning them to other
taking
questions.
A hard right.
Of course.
Yes. So, Matt from Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast will really appreciate these questions because he wanted to do non sequitur questions. So, shout out to Matt from our podcast.
All right. Well, in terms of named Continental Congresses, I can only think of the first Continental Congress, which is called the First Continental Congress, I believe.
Yeah. I'm drawing 0 on that, so if that's what you got, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, that's what I think it was called, the First Continental Congress.
Weirdly, I think this is the Second Continental Congress.
And the correct answer is the Second Continental Congress.
Good job, Jeff. What'd they do the first time? The Articles of the Confederacy?
Well, that's the thing is, like, I couldn't remember, but I knew the second one was important.
Yeah. I think the first one was just the origin story, and they didn't really pick anything for the second.
They just got bit by American spiders or bald eagles or something like that.
Well, then they're going to do it all over again with Andrew Garfield in a couple of years.
All right, moving on to question 5.
Matt liked that one. Matt's still laughing about the bald eagle.
Yeah. All right, question 5. Speaking of Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Pirates and the Steelers played their home games at Three Rivers Stadium from 1970 to 2000. The confluence of which two rivers in Pittsburgh formed the Ohio River, thus giving the name to the stadium?
I don't want to say it out loud, though, but one of them, I'm just thinking of rivers, but I think that's in New York anyway. Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to say it.
The Hudson?
River's Phoenix.
No, I'm thinking of the one that that rhymes with double whammy. Which I don't even think it rhymes completely with double whammy, but
I don't know.
Anyway,
I've got 2 rivers. You tell me what you think.
Oh, I'm good with that.
Okay.
I was actually, shout out to my 4th grade self, or is it 6th grade, in the geography bee, back when I was, young. So I know it's the Allegheny River, and the other one it's got a long, complicated name. It's Monongahela River, Mononghela River.
Okay.
Thanks to my eidetic memory. Josh knows all about that.
All right, let's lock in with those 2 things. And based on other improper pronunciations on this show in the past, hopefully we can get some points for that.
Yeah, Jeff wrote down 2 answers. One of them I was trying to rhyme with by saying double whammy, which I realize now does not rhyme with Allegheny. But no, that's what I was thinking of.
The Allegheny is the one I'm certain of. The other one that we guessed, which I know is in Ohio, is the Cuyahoga. But I believe that the other team is correct because the Monongahela River sounds right.
So the correct answer is, now you didn't quite spell it correctly. You missed a letter, Eric. It is the Allegheny River and the Monongahela River. But I will give you points. You almost spelled it correctly, and you almost pronounced it correctly.
Almost. I was close. All right.
You had the two rivers.
That was all Eric. Eric's kind of carrying my team right now, so.
Yeah, so after 5, Neal and Jeff, the Rich Matt Tigers, have 20, and Ken and Eric, the Roy Boys, have 30.
Yeah, and shout out to Taylor Cook, who just moved his medical practice to Pittsburgh. So if you need some dental work, look up Taylor Cook.
I'll fix that grill right up for you.
Yeah, we all have gold grills right now in the studio. You can't see them because we have masks on, but good work, Taylor.
Secretly upgraded to platinum when you weren't paying attention.
The official dentist of Triviality.
I like to think that Taylor Cook is like Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems on the side, selling grills, custom grills.
He's like betting on sports that don't deserve any sort of betting. He's like, look, I got 20 grand on this bocce competition.
Man, the Marlboro racing is eating me out of house and home this year.
Yeah, there you go.
Question 6, in speaking of rivers, Phillip Rivers played most of his NFL career in San Diego for the Chargers. In 2016, astronomers from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center and San Diego State University used the Kepler Space Telescope to identify a new planet, Kepler 1647, a Tatooine planet. How does its solar system differ from ours?
We can lock in.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right, well, Tatooine, I believe, had 2 suns, which is from Star Wars. But that happens in real life, too. And I think I do kind of remember this story in the news. So I think we want to say it's a 2-sun solar system.
I like it.
And we will also lock in with a binary star system.
Oh, you just said it more nicely.
Well, I went with the more layman term of it has 2 suns for the correct answer. So you are both correct.
Ken, you have some Tatooines, right?
I have a couple Tatooines. I'm wearing my muscle shirt today, so you can see my Tatooines.
Yeah, and
Is
it's
that the long sleeve shirt that you cut all the sleeves off of?
Yeah.
And I wish you'd put
it
on
was too small.
I wish you'd put on some pants so I wouldn't have to see your two sons. But
Yeah, sorry about that. My red dwarfs.
yeah,
my blue giants.
You're definitely a gassy planet, knowing how it smells in the studio.
I was pretty sure it was a white dwarf.
Oh boy.
Whew. All right, question 7. Speaking of sons, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex and founder of the Invictus Games, and his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, gave birth to their son Archie in 2019. Where is Archie in the line of succession to the British throne?
We're good.
Yeah,
I'll just write it all out, but we're good.
I think we're good.
He's got to be far.
Yeah, he's pretty far. It goes to Charles, and then to
William,
then to his kids.
and he's got 2 boys. Does the girl count?
I think so.
Okay, so if all 3 of theirs, so then that would be, that's 1, 2, that's 5 total.
Mm-hmm. And then Harry.
And then Harry, which would be 6, and then his
Archie,
son, which would be 7.
That sounds good to me. That would be a catastrophe.
I was just that's going to be tragic if that ever happens.
All right, so we're going to say 7. 7th.
Okay, they're going with 7. And I agree with Jeff. He wrote down a long list. I'm curious about this question, too, because I know they're kind of taken away from the family.
Well, they're removing themselves.
They're removing themselves, yeah.
And I remember I wrote a trivia question where the answer had nothing to do with this, but it was basically like who would take Harry's place when they leave the royal family, presuming they're no longer allowed to secede.
Right.
And I was pretty sure that it goes Charles and then William's 3 kids, because before the first one was born, they changed the law just in case it was a girl. So Charlotte does count in the line of succession, and then it would go Harry, and number 7 would be Archie. So,
and the correct answer is 7th. And from everything I saw, even though they have officially stepped away from their duties from the royal family, it does not remove Harry or Archie from the line of succession.
Yeah.
All right, question 8. Speaking of the Duke, John Wayne, the Duke, was an offensive tackle for what West Coast University's football team before starting his storied movie career?
I got it.
Okay.
We can
We're locked in.
We can lock it. Yeah.
I feel like I've read this before, and I could be thinking too simple, but USC or UCLA obviously are the big ones. He said West Coast, though. Maybe it's not. But
I mean, they're both West Coast.
Yeah, I just know USC is very ingrained in Hollywood history. A lot of people go to USC to get handouts in the business and nepotism and whatnot, which we won't get into. But
and also technically art degrees.
And art degrees, right? And sometimes their running backs get sued in civil cases. But USC, I think. I think he went there. I could be wrong, but that's my guess.
All right. I'm pretty sure he was actually picked in the NFL draft too, but I'm almost positive he went to USC.
Well, the correct answer is University of Southern California.
Cool.
I do not believe he was drafted because he only made it through his first couple of years and got a pretty bad knee injury, and thus he stopped playing football and went into acting.
If he had true grit, he would have played through. But...
Yeah, but he took the easy stagecoach out.
There you go.
All right, question 9. Speaking of offensive tackles, Michael Orr is a former NFL offensive tackle whose high school life was depicted in the movie The Blind Side. What American singer and actor portrayed Sean Toohey, Michael's adoptive father, in the movie?
We're good.
We're good.
Oh, really? That's good. Go ahead, Eric.
I'm pretty sure that was Tim McGraw.
Yeah, the man whose hats are as leathery as his skin, Tim McGraw.
Both teams will be getting points. The correct answer is Tim McGraw.
Not as good as his performance in Friday Night Lights, though.
I didn't know that he was an actor.
Sometimes. He like Friday Night Lights was like his big breakout. He played like a abusive father, drunk father, and then he kind of got a few roles after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are killing my next question.
Oh, sorry. Well, just pretend we didn't say it.
That's all right. Question 10. Speaking of Tim McGraw, The Blind Side was not the first sports movie that Tim McGraw starred in. He portrayed the overbearing father of a running back in the Texas high school football drama Friday Night Lights. The movie was based on the book Friday Night Lights, A Town, a Team, and a Dream by what American journalist and author?
I've heard this person on interviews so many times, and I can't think of his name. Do you know this one at all, Jeff? I know he's written a bunch of books.
I don't know.
All right. We have a guess. We think it's really close. We're not sure if it's completely correct, but we're going to lock in.
All right. So do you have any other information about this person, like other books that he might have written? Or
I have I'm terrible with literature, so I know like 6 authors.
Okay.
Most of them are John Steinbeck.
Okay.
So if outside of John Steinbeck, and then who's the one that wrote that book, Precious? Those are like the only authors I know. So this is lost on me.
All right. So we're gonna say Friday Night Lights, based on the novel Push by Sapphire. No, let's say John Green. He's an author, but I doubt that he wrote a football book.
Well, maybe one day he'll write a football book like Liverpool FC, but
so you're going with John Green.
Yeah.
We knew this author had written a couple other books that we're familiar with, and we couldn't exactly get his name right, but we think we got it right. I think his first name's Charles, and I think his last name, is Dickens. So that's what we went with.
No points, surprisingly, will be awarded to this question. The correct answer is H.G. Buzz Bissinger.
I was way off. Way off. That's not what I
say. H.G. Wells. I'm like, what?
The War of the Yards? I don't know.
Yeah, close enough.
War of Inches, right?
Yeah.
All right, and I guess we can get a first round recap now. The Richmond Tigers, Neal and Jeff have 60 points. Slightly edging them out is Waz the Great and Powerful, Ken and Eric with 70 points.
Nice.
So really good end to that round. You guys knocked a bunch out in a row.
Matt, before we go to the swing round, is there anywhere you'd like people to check us out on social media or perhaps throw you some questions?
No, I don't think that any place would be good for that. You don't want to check it out.
How about the crop, though?
Yeah, the crop. You'll see Eric and Josh in there a few times a week, and we love talking to you all over there and getting some updates, some quizzes. I think Kylie Diggs put some quizzes up there sometimes, which is great, and some other people as well. But we love seeing you over there, and Matt is asking for questions each month for a new crop drop, second Patreon's bonus.
Yeah, we
right,
got
Matt?
a lot of them, and we're going to be recording that very shortly. So I can't wait to start answering whatever you guys asked. I love it.
Cool.
So moving on to our halftime swing round. The swing round is in sports movies starring Oscar-winning actors. I will give you the year the movie was released, and 2 Oscar-winning actors who were in the movie. You simply need to tell me the title of the movies. Note, none of these actors won an Oscar for their performance in these movies.
Okay.
All right.
So, number 1, 1961, Paul Newman and George C. Scott. Number 2, 1976, Walter Matthau and Tatum O'Neal. Number 3, 1988, Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins. 1990, Robert Duvall and Nicole Kidman. Number 5, 1992, Tom Hanks and Gina Davis. Number 6, 1999, Al Pacino and Jamie Foxx. Number 7, 2001, Jon Voight and Jamie Foxx. Number 8, 2003, Jeff Bridges and Chris Cooper. Number 9, 2005, Russell Crowe and Renee Zellweger. Lastly, number 10, in 2011, Brad Pitt and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
We will be right back with our answers.
All the answers are now locked in, so let's see how we did.
All right, so for number 1, 1961, Paul Newman and George C. Scott. What'd you guys have?
I'll get us started with this one. We believe that is The Hustler.
Yeah, one of my favorite Paul Newman movies. We also went with The Hustler.
The Hustler is correct. All right. How about number 2, 1976, Walter Matthau and Tatum O'Neal?
We went with the last football season Chicago team, and that is the Bad News Bears.
Yeah, one of my favorite children's movies. We said the Bad News Bears.
Both teams are correct. It is the Bad News Bears.
What was that called? The double
doink.
Double doink.
That was 3 years ago?
No, it
2
wasn't.
years ago?
No. 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, 1988. Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins.
I was one of the 2 or 3 that I was 100% on, and we went with Bull Durham.
Yep. It's not Field of Dreams or For Love of the Game. It's the third Kevin Costner baseball movie. We went Bull Durham.
Really, the only Kevin Costner baseball movie you really need to see. The answer is Bull Durham.
Hot take.
Number 4, 1990. Robert Duvall and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, unfortunately, Michael Rooker has not won his Oscar yet, but we went with Days of Thunder.
Yep, the saga of Cole Trickle and Mellow Yellow. We went Days of Thunder.
Once again, both teams are correct. The answer is Days of Thunder. Number 5, 1992. I'm sure this one was a real difficult one for you guys. Tom Hanks and Gina Davis.
So, Josh, you know never to ask me a League of Their Own question. It's my favorite baseball movie. So we went with League of Their Own.
I heard there is no crying in baseball, but Neal has told me that it's okay if I cry while podcasting. We said A League of Their Own.
Once again, both teams are correct. It's A League of Their Own. Number 6, we have 1999, Al Pacino and Jamie Foxx.
And we believe this one is Any Given Sunday, which we briefly mentioned earlier.
Inch by inch. Yeah. We also went Any Given Sunday.
Again, both teams are correct. It is Any Given Sunday. Number 7 seemed to give you guys a little bit of time that you had to think about. We'll see if you got the right answer. 2001, Jon Voight and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, despite doing pretty good on this round, we did have to think about quite a few of these, and this one was by far the worst. So, Eric, you want to take it?
Yeah, Varsity Blues crossed my mind because of Voight, but then I knew he was in a boxing movie, and it was just trying to figure out which boxing movie, and we went with Ali.
Yeah, we also think it's Ali.
Well, Jon Voight was Howard Cosell in the movie Ali.
I remembered they both had smaller parts because I was thinking initially that Jamie Foxx was the lead, and I was like, I can't think of another sports movie he's in. But then when I thought of them as supporting characters, that's when it came.
Is he another boxer in the movie, or?
I can't even remember. I just know he has a small part. I got it from the Jon Voight thing, too.
Do you happen to have a Howard Cosell impression, Neal?
Oh, my God. Look at these podcasters going strong mile after mile.
Not bad. I like it.
Yeah, it got stronger as he went on.
Yeah. The more nonsense I can talk, the stronger the impression gets.
Number 8, 2003, Jeff Bridges and Chris Cooper.
So this one's one I knew. Big horse racing fan, apparently. I don't know how I knew this, but we went with Seabiscuit.
Yeah, Neal kept going. I see him in this like newsboy cap, and it's like the 1920s, and he couldn't pull it. And we were just about to sit down, and he went, Seabiscuit.
And then you thought about Spider-Man.
I did. I said, it's not Spider-Man, but yeah. And I just thought of my safe word. So yeah, we want Seabiscuit.
Once again, you guys are spot on. The answer is Seabiscuit. Number 9, 2005, Russell Crowe and Renee Zellweger.
Yep. This one is one of my favorite sports movies, despite its kind of historical inaccuracies. But well, it's Cinderella Man.
Yep. Knew it was one that Ken is fond of, and we also went Cinderella Man.
All right. You guys are keeping it up. The correct answer is Cinderella Man.
Neal, you couldn't even beat my grandmother right now. Teeth in or out?
I love Paul.
No chance.
I love Paul Giamatti in there.
All right. Let's see if both teams can run the swing round with 2011, Brad Pitt and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I've never seen this movie. I just knew it was a sports movie with Brad Pitt, early 2010s. We went with Moneyball.
We said the metrics are pointing us towards Moneyball, so that's what we went with.
Well, both teams with a clean sweep of the swing round. The answer is Moneyball. Well done.
All right. Well, after that swing round, 50 points for both teams. So a lot of points, but not much changing. It's 110 for Neal and Jeff and 120 for Ken and Eric.
All right. Well, let's move on to round 2. Question 11. The category is your whole life sports? Which Major League Baseball pitcher who is tied with Cap Anson played for 27 seasons, the most in the 4 major U.S. sports?
Jeff wrote down an answer that pushed me in a different direction, but I think it's the correct one, so we're going to lock in.
I know it's got to be. It can't be like obscure because we're not, all sports people. Yeah. So that pushes me towards. I know Ricky Henderson played a lot, but I don't think he hit 27. So my gut would be Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
I know he played forever.
All right, we're going with the Occam's razor answer on this one and saying Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, we wrote down a few names. One was the person who put a nice beating on Robin Ventura, Nolan Ryan. We wrote Oral Hershiser. I couldn't say his name. And now Oral Hershiser. But Jeff wrote down an answer I thought was correct.
We locked in with Cy Young.
Well, one team will be getting points. It couldn't be Ricky Henderson because I don't recall him being a Major League Baseball pitcher. Well, Eric, just want to point that out. Yeah, the correct answer is Nolan Ryan.
Ooh.
Sorry about that, Neal.
No, that's all right.
Question 12. Speaking of the number 27, Mike Trout, who wears number 27 for the Los Angeles Angels, is considered by some sabermetric nerds to be the greatest baseball player in Major League Baseball history. Some metallurgical nerds probably think that what element with the atomic number 27 is the greatest of all time for its use in lithium-ion batteries?
Whichever one, I'm going to let you pick. But
I actually like your answer.
If I get this right, it'll be the greatest day in the history of my life.
Well, we're going to go with your answer.
Okay, we're going to lock in.
I'm lost with atomic numbers.
Yeah, I can't place it like on the chart. I'm not good with it identifying an element by number. I know a bit about element trivia, but I'm not good with the numbers.
First, ones I wrote down were cobalt and neon, but that's where I ran out.
Neon is not. I think he asked for a metal.
So cobalt, iron. I doubt they're putting iron in lights, so cobalt maybe.
Isn't magnesium a metal though? I'm trying to think about battery commercials, what they might say.
Once he said battery other than lithium ion, I just think it was the nickel.
Well, they often
cadmium
say alkaline,
or whatever, cadmium.
Alkaline battery, Let's say magnesium.
Sounds good.
Speaking of metal, shout out to a band from LA, Entry, for following us. Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Lead singer. You guys are awesome. And hopefully we'll have you on a Battle of the Band show.
Yeah, there you go.
So Jeff was trying to think of some elements. I have no idea if this is right. It's probably completely wrong. I got it from not the element, but from commercials, of course. And I just said copper because Duracell batteries have copper on the top. So that's what I said.
Well, unfortunately, no points will be awarded for this question. However, Eric, if you had gone with your gut with cobalt, you would have been correct.
Wow.
As soon as he said cobalt, I was like, oh, that's it.
Wow. I'm sorry, Eric.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't think it was cobalt a metal. Is a hard, lustrous, bluish-gray metal. All right, question 13. Speaking of cobalt, cobalt blue is the secondary color for 2 MLS teams. It is also the official logo color of what video game company who also colored their mascot to match?
I think I know this one, but I just want to run it by you.
Yeah, I think I have an idea. So
I believe this mascot's responsible for an accident I was in once. I'll explain.
I'm looking forward to hearing that story.
We will lock it in.
All right, so my initial impression right away when I think of blue video game logos and mascots, I think of Sega and Sonic.
That's exactly where I went.
Okay, so we don't need to think too hard about this, right?
No, that's got to be it.
All right.
Well, yeah, if it is Sonic, there's a huge billboard and it had Jim Carrey's face, and I could not stop looking at it. It was because it was so ugly and it was so big. And the person in front of me slammed on their brakes and I kind of rear-ended them. And I was like, and it's Jim Carrey's fault. So
now you're actually an LA resident that you've gotten to a fender bender. So Sega makes so much sense. I should have went there. That's the easy answer. But I was thinking of like World of Warcraft, those type of games. And Jeff wrote down Blizzard, which I thought it was. So we went Blizzard.
One team will be getting points. The correct answer is Sega. All right, moving on to question 14. Speaking of MLS teams, Minnesota United FC has a nickname that is also the state bird of Minnesota. What is it?
It's my mom's favorite bird. Doesn't mean anything.
To
but...
eat or?
Yes, to eat.
Okay. You want to go with that?
Sure. I mean, I've got no idea today.
I don't either. We'll lock in.
That's the wildcat theory.
Yeah.
It's up north, and with all the water and stuff. It's very similar to the area I'm in up in Canada. And loons are very, very prevalent up there. And I want to say I've heard a soccer team referred to as the Loons before. So
I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah, we weren't sure. We just knew that there's a lot of cardinals everywhere in the United States. As far as state birds, we just tried to play the odds. So that's what we went with.
Well, once again, only one team will be getting points. The correct answer is the Loons.
Nice. Nicely done.
Man, we're getting 0 for 4, man. We're just getting beat here.
I wish I could be more useful in this game, though.
Well, it's common if you're a teammate of Eric's that you just feel inadequate when he has all the answers. So that's a common feeling for a lot of us.
I don't only feel inadequate around Eric, though. I usually feel inadequate.
Just in any situation.
That's the title of Ken's sex tape.
Just inadequate.
listen, Matt was on our podcast. He came on and he beat me.
Wow.
So
that is true.
That
is.
I was also with Dan Lundberg, so that helped.
Okay, moving on to question 15. Speaking of loons, the Great Lake Loons are the Class A affiliate for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Within 5%, how much of the world's surface freshwater is contained in the Great Lakes?
We will lock in.
Okay, I'm thinking somewhere in the 25 to 30 range.
That's what I thought too. But then when I thought about it, how many other large freshwater?
Yeah, especially even some of the like seas that are considered lakes aren't sometimes freshwater, I think. So you want to go a little higher, like
maybe 35?
35.
30, 35?
I'd be good with 35.
If memory serves, most of the fresh water is actually contained in glaciers, like 80% or something like that. So we guessed really low. We think it might only be like a couple percent. So we said 5%.
Well, no points are going to be awarded. One team was too high. The other team was too low. The correct answer is 21%. So 16 to 26 would have been accepted.
Okay.
All right. After 5 questions in the second round, not going so well for Neal and Jeff, not adding any points, still at 110. Ken and Eric got 3 of those right, so they're up to 150, creating some space between the two teams. Let's see how it plays out.
Trying to social distance, you know?
Question 16. Speaking of the Los Angeles Dodgers, in 1946, the Los Angeles Dodgers broke the color barrier by signing Jackie Robinson to the team. What actor portrayed Jackie Robinson in the 2013 movie 42?
We can lock in.
Chadwick Boseman?
Chadwick Boseman?
I think
Black Panther guy, right?
I think so. Chadwick
That's his name?
Boseman's definitely Black Panther. And I think it was him. So if you know it was the Black Panther guy, then
I don't know. I've not seen either movie.
well,
so.
we both said Chadwick Boseman, so I think we'll go with that. Yeah.
Yep, I like it.
Jeff, now I'm not so sure. I think it was the actor who played Thurgood Marshall, and I think he played James Brown in another biopic. And then in this biopic, I think he played Jackie Robinson. I think it's Chadwick Boseman. Yeah.
Both teams getting points. The correct answer is Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, I sometimes forget he was in all those projects before he really got big and famous from Marvel. But
yeah, he was doing a lot of biopic movies.
Yeah. Or
biopic, however you want to say it. Some people get angry. Whatever.
I'm good either way.
Question 17. Speaking of 42. In 1942, the Rose Bowl was moved to Durham, North Carolina, due to fears about an attack by the Japanese on the west coast of the U.S. following the attack on Pearl Harbor. However, in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42 is the answer to the ultimate question of what?
Do you need the exact phrasing?
I would presume
yes, this would be needing the exact phrasing.
Okay.
I kind of know it.
You get this question wrong again?
That's what I was thinking. I think that's right. I don't know if it's exactly right, but yeah. Okay. We'll lock it over here.
So I'm just trying to get the correct phrasing on it, but it's basically the meaning of life and everything, basically.
I have nothing to give you on that one.
Nothing.
It's
okay.
again,
it's the meaning of life, something and everything. We'll go with the meaning of life and everything.
And Jeff, you wrote down an answer that I think is right. I'm not sure if it's exact, but what do you have?
We think it's is it life, the universe, and everything?
That's what I like.
One team will be getting points. The correct answer is life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah, I thought I was missing something there.
Moving on to question 18. Speaking of Durham, North Carolina is home to the Duke Blue Devils. What is the name of the current commissioner of the NBA who is a Duke alumnus?
We can lock this one in.
It's Adam Silver.
Yeah, I think I knew that Silver was in the name, so Adam Silver.
Yeah, unless you're living in a bubble.
Oh.
You're all weak. Can he do it again? Yeah, we went with Adam Silver.
Both teams getting points. The correct answer is Adam Silver. Moving on to question 19. Speaking of silver, the Las Vegas Raiders' official colors are black and silver. How many times have the Raiders moved, causing them to change their city name?
Ken, we can lock in so they can talk it out.
Okay, so working backwards, we know they're in Las Vegas.
So they're in Las Vegas,
They
right?
were in Oakland,
right?
So that's one move. Before that, they were in LA at the same time as the Rams in the 90s.
Yeah, they were the Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's true, then they're in the 90s. That means when Madden won with them, I think they would have been in Oakland again.
Okay.
So maybe they were Oakland to Los Angeles to Oakland, and then Oakland to Las Vegas.
Okay.
So that's 3 moves, right?
If that's correct, yeah.
Okay, and I don't know if they were in another city before Oakland when they first started, but yeah, we'll go 3 moves total.
Okay.
So they started in Oakland, went to LA for bulk of almost all the 80s and in the early 90s, then moved back to Oakland until they just moved to Las Vegas. So that would be 1. They've moved so I'm sorry, I have 3, I think, if that's correct. So that's 1, 2, and then 3. 3.
Both teams are correct. They have moved 3 times. All right, moving on to question 20. Speaking of the number 3, many old school baseball nerds think that the man who wore number 3 for the New York Yankees is the greatest baseball player in Major League Baseball history. Who is he?
We're pretty sure we know over here. We're going to lock in.
Cool.
It has to be Babe Ruth, right? Number 3, Yankees.
That's fine with me.
When I close my eyes and look at it, it's 3. So I'm pretty sure that's 3.
I'm happy
3.
with that. Sure.
Yeah, I kind of went through the numbers. Mantle 7, I believe. Roger Maris number 9. Can't remember what Yogi Berra is, but I don't think it's 3.
What about Larpin Lou?
I don't think it's Larpin Lou, but I believe that leaves us with Babe Ruth. So that's what we went with.
And the correct answer is Herman Babe Ruth.
Nice.
Good job, guys.
Now, just a quick little story here. When I was younger, it was like in July, and we were trying to play baseball with all of our friends, but we were having a lot of trouble because a lot of the kids couldn't get out of the house due to summer school. A couple of my friends were troublemakers. But one summer, there was a 4th of July celebration. We had like a block party, and I had this weird dream where Babe Ruth came out of my closet, and he gave me like a really good talking to about how to, be a good team player and good friend. And I just went out there and we played, and I just did the best I could. And
just so you know, I've been shaking my head since he uttered his first syllable. I knew where he was going with this.
But anyway, Hercules ended up being a great friend.
What is it? Heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Yogi Berra was number 8, by the way.
So. Oh, okay. So there you go.
Well, we're all going to be forgotten, so it's all good.
The future ain't what it used to be, Ken.
That's right.
Yeah, well, both teams had a pretty good second half of that round. Neal and Jeff getting the last 5 correct, it looks like, getting their score up to 160. Ken and Eric only missing 1, so their score is 190. Very high scoring going into the final.
And before we throw that to you, Josh, Jeff, we have 2 Patreon supporters here with us today, and we very much appreciate their support. But for other people who'd like to join them and help out the show, how can they do that?
It's very easy. If you're interested in supporting the show on a monthly basis financially, just go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. We just rebranded all of our perks over there. We've got something at every level for everyone, depending on whether you want bonus episodes, posters, you name it. There's a lot of great perks over there, and it really helps out the show. So again, patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. Check it out.
And Eric, speaking of you, I am filling your character box as we speak, and it will be coming pretty soon. So get ready for some hijinks inside that box, and just be prepared. Have a weapon and a week's supply of water.
It's a puzzle box.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Awesome.
All right. Your categories for the final round are Category 1 is Bears. Category 2, Bulls. Category 3, Cubs. Category 4, Fire. Category 5, Sky.
Oh, man, my heart just broke.
Because you were really hoping the White Sox would be on there?
Yeah, that's right. No, there was a glaring omission. That's okay, though.
All right, so all the wagers are locked in, so let's get those questions.
Okay, question 1 in the category of Bears. Scottie Pippen was a Bear when he played for what university? Question 2 in the category of Bulls. While everyone is familiar with the running of the Bulls in Pamplona, Spain, most people are unaware that the small village of Hammond, Wisconsin hosted the running of what camelids for 20 years from 1996 to 2016? Question 3 in the category of Cubs. Before winning the World Series in 2016, what was the last year the Chicago Cubs competed in a World Series? Question 4 in the category of Fire. What sporting event was impacted by a smoke haze caused by bushfires in January of 2020? Category 5 in the category of Sky. What extreme sport invented by 2 French skydivers was a part of the ESPN X Games from 1995 to 2000?
We're going to take a look at these. We'll be right back.
All right, before we get back to the game, just really quick, wanted to mention that we are altering our Patreon just a little bit and wanted to go over some of those new perks and levels.
Yeah, the new levels have new names because they're new. And if you're at the $1 level now, you're going to be at the Not a Robot level.
All right, the $5 level is now going to be the Oakland 5.
In honor of Liz Hudson. If you're at the $10 level, you're going to be what we call a Savage Superstar.
If you bump it up to 20, you are a Rules Guy impersonator.
And at our $50 level, you are a Dutch enthusiast.
And now here's where it gets a little different. We added a $75 level, and you will be the cream of the crop.
And our final level, our brand new level, is called the Executive Producer level. If you'd like to know what all of these tiers include, you can go to patreon.com/Triviality Podcast and see what the perks are and how you can support our show.
And if you're already a supporter at a level that has been changed, you can stay at that level and maintain your current perks. Nothing will be changed. But if you wanted to...
Some stuff has been added, though.
Yeah, there you go. So you can only go up from here, and please enjoy these new levels and check out the artwork by my friend Harley Physicus over at the Modern Electric Tattoo Shop.
Patreon.com/Triviality Podcast. Right back to the game.
All right, both teams are locked in, so take it away.
Okay, question 1 in the category of Bears. Scottie Pippen was a Bear when he played for what university?
So we talked about it for a minute, and I remember this from The Last Dance being on recently on ESPN. We went with Central Arkansas.
The only reason we knew this one was from The Last Dance. We also said Central Arkansas.
And by the way, both teams put all their chips in this final round, so it's going to be 30 points per question for both teams.
Well, both teams will be getting 30 points. The answer is University of Central Arkansas.
Nice.
Question 2 in the category of Bulls. While everyone is familiar with the running of the Bulls in Pamplona, Spain, most people are unaware that the small village of Hammond, Wisconsin hosted the running of what camelids for 20 years from 1996 to 2016.
All right, we'll start here. Eric had said that in that region of the country, which Josh insistently said was a totally different place, but he said there was a lot of alpaca farming. So we went with the running of the llamas.
Yep. We knew that camelids were like camels, llamas, alpacas. We guessed llamas.
Well, both teams picked the correct camelid. The answer is the running of the llamas.
I'm getting nervous
I attended
now,
that running of the llamas for a couple of years. It's really quite entertaining. If you can't go see it now, but if you can just picture the first year they did it, they actually let the llamas loose and they just ran through the downtown and they got into everything. Mm-hmm. So starting in the second year, they actually had people with leashes running along with the camels to keep them on the street so as not to create any chaos. Question 3 in the category of Cubs. Before winning the World Series in 2016, what was the last year the Chicago Cubs competed in a World Series?
Yeah, we had the year that the last time they won. We didn't know if they had competed in another World Series since, but the best we could do is just name the year that they won last, and that was, Eric?
1908.
This is a number that came up a lot in 2016, and I'm pretty sure this was about the last time the Indians won too. The number stuck out in my head. It was 1945.
One team will be getting points. The correct answer is 1945.
And they wouldn't let the billy goat in, and then they never went back. And that's what happened. True story.
Cubs lost to the Detroit Tigers in 7 games.
Technically, they played in the Rookie of the Year movie. So does that count?
They actually went, it looks like, to 7 World Series after 1908. And lost them all until 2016. So
okay.
All right, moving on to question 4 in the category of fire. What sporting event was impacted by a smoke haze caused by bushfires in January of 2020?
Well, as far as I could take this one was that the bushfires were happening in Australia, and Eric kind of finished it off by saying maybe it's the Australian Open.
We knew that bushfire meant Australia, and we knew it wasn't Australian football, as they're playing right now. Jeff wrote down F1, but we thought it was tennis, meaning that it would be the Australian Open, so that's what we locked in.
Both teams getting their points. The correct answer is the Australian Open, one of the Grand Slam tennis tournaments.
All right, so right now, the other team has actually taken the lead due to that one missed question, so it's all going to come down to this.
Question 5 in the category of sky. What extreme sport, invented by 2 French skydivers, was part of the ESPN X Games from 1995 to 2000?
You could take it, Jeff. This one we had a lot of trouble with.
Yeah, I think I know the 2 French skydivers for other reasons.
Personally?
Yes, personally. They are friends of mine, Jacques and Jean, but no.
Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude, yeah. Although isn't he Belgian? But yeah, no, we
could be French and be named Jean-Claude.
We didn't know, but I know there is like really cool stuff you can do with like parachutes and when you do skydiving, and so we figured it was some kind of like extreme parachuting.
Yeah, we thought about base jumping, parkour, and some other things, but we ended up saying sky surfing, thinking about that one scene in Power Rangers, the movie.
One team will be getting their points. The correct answer is sky surfing.
Well done, sir.
Well, on that final question, we had a swing. It was 280 to 250 going into it with Neal and Jeff in the lead. But after getting that one wrong, bringing them to 250, and Ken and Eric getting it correct, they are today's cream of the crop with 280 points.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, good job, Eric.
Nice work.
Barely snuck that one out.
I wanted to switch over to alpaca, but llamas, that worked. All right.
What a close game. Very exciting at the end. It's just like a good sporting event. Speaking of the Benchwarmers, so
yeah,
good end.
Well, we certainly appreciate these 2 gentlemen joining us, Eric and Josh. Any final statements today, Eric?
Oh, no, thanks for having us on. Josh, it was a great game. I was a little worried about your pop culture references, and, your questions were, had me going every which way. But no, again, all you guys, Triviality, thanks for having us on. We appreciate all the support you guys gave us in the beginning, and it's definitely helped us out.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thank you, Josh. Any final statements?
Yeah, well, I was glad that you guys didn't get all the questions right. It was nice that I wrote a game that at least was a little challenging at times. Definitely love your guys' podcast. Thanks for having us on. like Eric said, it's we appreciate the support you've given us, helping us as we're starting off in this podcasting venture. So if anybody wants to check us out, we are the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Episode 22 dropped this morning, so there's plenty that people can listen to. You don't have to be a huge fan of sports to know, a good chunk of the trivia we have. And you can learn some new stuff for those trivia players who are looking to bone up on their sports. Check us out.
Yeah, thank you both for joining us today. Make sure you check out the Benchwarmers Podcast for any sports trivia enthusiasts. And for Jeff, Neal, Matt, Eric, Josh, I am Ken, and that was Triviality. And now I'll have that song stuck in my head that's in all the movies.
Which one?
The This Will Destroy You.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Post-rock song.
Oh,
yeah.
Imagine Dragons?
No.
Radioactive?
No.
No.
Matt loves Imagine Dragons.
I was just thinking about it, I guess.
How disruptive would that be in the movie Moneyball?
Whoa, radioactive.
Oh my God. Brad Pitt's eating like some sort of almond mix, and he's saying a really serious scene. All of a sudden you hear, "Welcome to the new age."
He's eating a bar of uranium.
Just Matt stairs lifting weights. It's terrible.